Today we're looking at instruments that changed my life. So first on the list is my childhood piano. Now, this isn't just my childhood piano, it was my mother's childhood piano as well. It was a 1967 Yamaha U1, and it was a style that just had the two pedals, and it was in that satin black finish. Now, the piano itself was, a pretty nondescript instrument. It had a pretty good tone and a good action, but that wasn't really what had the impact on me. I discovered following one of the tuner's visits that if you took the front panel off and played that instrument, you could really start to feel the sound of a piano. For me, it was that first moment where I really got a sense that music could be powerful, that I had the ability with this instrument to really make the room shake and have a true emotional impact on myself and others. And that never left me. So if my first piano showed me that pianos could be fun and really exciting, it was my second piano that moved that to inspiring. I was 13 and my parents could tell that I was really into instruments and piano specifically. And so they made the splurge and they changed out the upright piano for a Yamaha G3. This was a 1986 model. Now I got that instrument home, it was in the living room, and you had to pry me off of that piano. I went from begrudgingly practicing 20 to 30 minutes a day to gleefully being in front of that instrument for a few hours a day. It had a huge impact on the trajectory of piano in my life. And so I always think back to that moment anytime people ask me what the value of investing in a great instrument is. It isn't just the musical performance, it's the impact it can have on somebody's connection and inspiration. So next were all of the church organs that I really had a chance to explore and play in my teens. And I already had kind of caught the bug for improvising, and I was loving some of those first sounds of jazz in my ear. And it all kind of came together right around the time I started playing these organs in churches. And this included a Hammond C3 at a little country church. It also included a Cassavant pipe organ with 3 manual, a principal pipe organ with 2 manual. And while the sound of the organ was glorious, what really impacted me about this time was the fact that I started truly harmonically improvising. So rather than having it be about the virtuosity of, say, a jazz piano solo, this was all about learning to sort of move around the keyboard and hear all of these different textures coming in and out of the harmony, really kind of orchestrating for the first time and moving around different key centers. And having those hours and hours and hours at a church playing preludes and postludes, I think just was one of the most interesting exploratory periods in my early musical development. Now, until I was a teen, my piano experience had been completely acoustic. Digital instrumentation was just something that wasn't around the house and I didn't really have an exposure to. So in my teens, my parents decided to purchase me a Korg N264. And it was the first time I really had a chance to kind of apply the layering experimenting that I was doing with the organs in church and start to apply that kind of approach in a digital environment. The idea that you could suddenly start stacking 2, 3, 4 different sounds together was just mind-blowing. Then I had a high school teacher around the same time who decided to invest in a Roland XP80, also a stage piano, for the high school music program. And they kind of let me borrow it and take it home with me sometimes at night just to experiment. And this was the first time I really experienced sequencing. And if the Korg ignited my creativity with the layering, the sequencing was like a nuclear bomb going off. I could not get enough of this, and it really sort of lit this interest and passion for composition, and for me, I think more arrangement. Now, I think every pianist is going to remember their first moment behind a truly premium grand piano. And for me, this happened at a time in life where I was doing some competitive classical piano playing. And so one of the final competitions was held in a hall, and that hall had recently invested in a Bösendorfer 225 as their main kind of performance instrument. First thing, I got quite freaked out at suddenly seeing all of these extra keys at the bottom of the piano. And then once, of course, you've glimpsed into the world of truly premium instruments, it's really hard to go back. You have the entire structure of the instrument really reacting and acting like a musical partner. And that was a pretty profound moment.
Before we go too much further, if you are enjoying this video, you are one of tens of millions of people who have already stopped by our channel to learn a little bit more about pianos. And if you've enjoyed what you're seeing, we would love for you to subscribe. But it's so much more than just enjoying the video. Here on the channel, we offer exclusive product discounts, draws, giveaways, and exclusive content to those who choose to become members and subscribers of the Merriam Pianos YouTube channel. So if you haven't already, do us a big favor and hit that subscribe button. We'd love to see you back. Now, back to the video.
In my first year at university, sitting on the stage in the recital hall was a Kawai EX 9-foot concert grand. And this would actually be my very first experience playing on a Kawai grand. And what a grand this was. I had no real expectations or understanding what this instrument was. I wasn't even sure how to pronounce the name properly. But when I sat at that piano, I was totally shocked at how responsive it was, how powerful it was, how rich and thick the tone it was. And it had an indelible impact on my impression of both the brand, as well as just how exhilarating it could be to play on a great 9-foot instrument. Once I started dabbling in the piano industry, that gave me a chance to see an even wider array of instruments. And the first premium upright piano I had a chance to sit down in front of was a Grotrian. And when you sat down in front of those pianos, with the strings and the hammers only like a foot away from your ear, especially in a nice quiet room, and you started to just tickle those keys, the shades of tone and the tiny little details that started to get coaxed out of this piano, never mind the level of sustain, was something that I'd honestly never experienced before. It was like I was playing the piano for the first time. So now, over to you. Which instruments really had an impact on your musical journey? We'd love to hear it, so be sure to drop them down in the comments. Thanks so much for watching. My name is Stu Harrison. This has been Merriam Pianos on YouTube, and we appreciate you being here. We'll see you again soon.